everybody. Welcome, welcome, and thank you so much for being here this morning. I am very, very excited to introduce you guys to our guest hosts today, the people that we're chatting with. We have Tim and Tannis. They are creators and co-founders of Echobox Memory Vault. So this is simple technology that anybody can use to capture the memories and comforts of your loved one. Organizations can use it, acute care teams. It just helps you to get to know a little bit more of the person that you're caring for. So I'm doing it a big disservice by introducing the um, the thing that we're going to be talking about today. Excuse me, I lost my head there. I'm going to let Tim and Tannis go ahead and take it away. So if everyone will join me in welcoming them with a virtual clap. Welcome, Tim and Tannis. So nice to see you guys.
Oh, thanks so much, Sarah. And thanks for all the hard work that you do with all of the programming through Unison.
Oh, thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing? And we're honored to be here to and have the opportunity to chat about our family project. Really, that's what it is. Try to dress it up like this global sort of innovation. That's where we're trying to put it. But for now, it's just a happily made in Calgary sort of technology. And yeah, really happy to be able to share it with you today.
Yeah, and I guess so to introduce ourselves, yeah, I'm Tannis. My background actually, I started off with the library. I actually worked in the library for 22 years. And my main passions, though, I have to say, are like genealogy, and I love camping in the outdoors for sure. That's what I like to try to do the most.
That's right. I'm Tim Roberts, co-founder. Tanis and I met in theater arts actually here in Calgary
Mhm.
at university. And so
Mhm.
yeah, and so all of a sudden we met and yeah, I'm more of an artist and a musician. That wasn't quite paying the bills, so I ended up in more commercial maintenance
Mhm.
and just through sort of circumstance and everyday conversations, this idea kind of came up between us and it kind of gained a little bit of volume, and we put dedicated some time towards it. And before we knew it, we had Echobox Memory Vault on our hands. And so um, we often find that showing a little video that we've made kind of puts a lot of shape to what we can otherwise get carried away with jazz hands and
Yeah,
long-winded
a little bit of
explanations.
rambling. Yeah.
So,
So let's
without,
do inspiration first.
oh yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah.
So yeah, the idea came up what about you saw the video about 8 years ago. There was a video on YouTube of an older gentleman in the UK. He's a widower, and he was using the sound of his wife's voice from the recording machine as a source of comfort. Whenever he was feeling down, he would listen to her voice. But the telephone system that he was with had to do a revamp, and it erased that snippet, and everybody had to re-record. But for him, I mean, it was a huge loss. So I guess he caused enough fuss that the video that we did see was actually the tech team showed up at his house and gave him back that little sound clip. And just to see the emotion that he went through when he got to hear it again, it was a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah,
So,
so that story was captured on the BBC and YouTube had a video about it. So we happened to see that and then we just started wondering, I mean, this gentleman was basically listening to his wife say, "Hi, sorry you caught us while we're out, leave a message." A pretty as far as emotional content, but it was the sound of her voice that really caught him. And so we just kind of started thinking, well, where would families go to feel safe and secure about leaving little things about their life, whether it was fishing holes or recipes or workplace accomplishments or childhood stories, whatever they might want to capture, without the inherent evils that come along with Facebook or social media, privacy concerns and what have you. So, um, even though we don't really have much of a background in
mhm.
technology, or caregiving or business, we decided to take this idea on, and it kind of went from a doodle on our napkin on our kitchen table here to a pilot, which got some news on CTV here in Calgary, and that went coast to coast suddenly. And so we were writing some momentum about this idea about simply just capturing memories and remembering each other better. We kind of swung for the fences and we reached out to the BBC overseas and said, you had this you know little video that really kind of caused us a lot of inspiration, and we put some shape to it, and just so happened the person that answered the phone said, I remember that story. We should do a follow-up story. So within 18 months, it had gone from just this nugget of an idea to about a 2-minute special on the BBC overseas. And so I think it was at that point we thought we knew what we were
Yeah,
doing.
we had it made.
Just turns out that, as much of a legacy piece and a digital technology, it could perform a whole bunch of things for families. We started hearing back from dementia care specialists, senior care specialists, early onset Alzheimer's, palliative care. It just went on and on and on. And we realized that that was probably the direction we had to go. We've also got a cat fight
Yeah,
happening
sorry if you
somewhere
hear a
else.
bunch of noises behind us. Yeah.
So we're just trying to be entertaining as entertaining as we can here.
I saw something moving back there. I
Yeah.
thought it was a cat.
If the fur starts flying and you hear some screaming, it's just,
Yeah.
just every day here at the old Echobox office.
Just turn the camera.
That's right, sure. Yeah, we might get a good angle of it. But yeah, and so it suddenly we realized that it was resonating in a much stronger way, in a different way, for a lot of people that had a lot of different positions in a lot of different fields. We started learning about senior isolation. We started learning about sundown. We started learning about all sorts of
Mhm.
things from the caregiver side of a day-to-day sort of scenario in a caregiving landscape, and how tough it might be to keep the people in that are in the community and the individuals comfortable and happy while you're also responsible for a whole bunch of things, and hopefully coming out with a daily outcome that everyone's happy with. So we had a lot to learn, right? We
Yeah.
were like drinking from the fire hose in so many different ways. And so I guess that kind of covers, unless I
Yeah.
rambled a bit too.
No.
That kind of put us in the position where we really started to research, and a lot of people like Sarah herself would give us a little bit of their time, of their advice, of their guidance, and kind of helped us turn our original idea into what could be a senior healthcare solution that does raise the quality of life. And so, um, without further ado,
Yeah,
I,
we can
I
get
I'll let the kind of
the
the
video
video
do
do
the
a little
talk.
more talking.
Okay.
And this one doesn't really describe the inspiration too much, but it does kind of touch on the journey that we've been on.
Right. Get it going.
Echobox Memory Vault.
So you've heard about Echobox and would like to know a little bit more about what this brand new resource can do, not only for the people in care, but also for the caregivers and teams providing it. In this short video, we'll discuss what Echobox is all about and go over the many benefits seniors and caregivers are now enjoying all around the world. In North America alone, the senior population has exploded past 80 million people and continues to accelerate while healthcare systems struggle with limited time, limited resources, and a constant rotation of staff. Administering showers, ensuring proper food intake, even changing clothes can be incredibly tough, sometimes impossible. Communication suffers, and training up new team members is a never-ending process. Recent numbers show that 60% of staff experience caregiver burnout, and around half of the workforce has quit before their 5th year on the job. As a result, seniors living in these conditions suffer high rates of isolation, senior depression, participate less in group activities, and can even grow combative with those just trying to help. It's a reality we don't really want to think about, but for many, the last chapter can be an uncomfortable, lonely one. We originally created Echobox as a digital legacy technology where families could capture all the things they love about life: recipes, stories, movies, recordings, that sort of thing. But after appearing nationally on CTV here in Canada and then internationally on the BBC out of the UK, all the resulting feedback made one thing clear: caregivers were responding. Senior activities directors, rec therapists, music therapists, memory and dementia care specialists like Teepa Snow, telling us that capturing and referencing our favorite things about life carries a power that reaches far beyond sentiment and nostalgia. They spoke of a global shift towards person-centric care and how technologies like ours needed to catch up. We began to see Echobox in a whole new light, a tool that would equip caregivers with personalized guidelines to ease tensions and save time while boosting seniors' quality of life. Through Echobox, someone's favorite songs, childhood memories, or workplace accomplishments would naturally transform into pleasant distractions and familiar conversations, making those showers, meals, and clothing changes not only achievable, but more enjoyable for everyone. New team members would be familiarized with those in their community instantly and effortlessly, and most importantly, the whole team would have access to key information entered by staff members who had come before them. This would ensure that those in care could remain immersed in their favorite sounds, fragrances, and other life comforts, while their care team remained informed and prepared to overcome daily challenges through a loving, person-centric approach. Echobox would not only be greatly benefiting seniors and residents, we'd be directly combating caregiver burnout, high turnover rates, and poor team communication, dissolving frustrations, creating efficiencies, saving time, and saving money. That's a huge win-win for everybody involved. So we got right back to work. We rebranded, designed a newer, simpler model, formed an advisory board, received grant funding from the group Alberta Innovates, appeared on podcasts, more TV shows, magazine articles, began traveling abroad to attend healthcare conferences and seminars, all the while creating an inner community of caregiving professionals who have offered us their collective insight and guidance. We made sure Echobox could be used by everyone, in facilities and long-term care communities, by home care service providers, individual therapists of every stripe, and families wishing to digitally capture special moments and personal treasures for their own safekeeping in a private ad-free environment. The innovation has been tested all across North America, letters of support are rolling in, and partnerships are now settling into place. It's exciting to see the sudden growth of interest surrounding the technology. We've been told Echobox is revolutionary, a game changer, that we've exposed a gap in the market big enough to fit a market in the gap. Echobox Memory Vault has just entered commercialization and sales and is about to emerge as the world's newest senior healthcare solution. We're seeking out conversations with potential investors, additional partners, and really just want to explore every possibility presented to this unique, groundbreaking technology. If you'd like to learn more about use and functionality, please watch the How Echobox Works video right here on our YouTube channel, and don't hesitate to reach out to us at feedback@echobox.ca. Thank
Awesome. So
Wow.
that kind of comes across as like an infomercial, pretty kind of a little more direct. Tannis and I are much more just from the lovey-dovey feelings matter
Yeah.
quality of life camp. But to kind of we've realized that if we're going to kind of take this seriously and forward it as a business, we've had to just kind of put pieces together kind of like that kind of show data and all these cold facts and figures and stuff when really we're much more comfortable talking about, feelings and capturing things and just the essence of the nucleus of what Echobox has kind of grown into. Um, and so, unless there's a couple of questions that might be popping up already, we have a couple of slides that might put a little more definition to just like the idea of what we're accomplishing with this. Um, Again, I know that video kind of tackled a lot at once, but primarily it's a way of capturing the little things about life. So whether it's your family that wants to reference these things, whether we're all alive or whether they want to use it as a legacy piece. Other people just want to scrapbook and tell their life story. And care teams around the world are free to use it right now for free. And so we're just at the point now where we're at the luxury of having people's attention and having audiences like this one where we get to say, we're doing what we can to try to put emotional intelligence, person-centric care into a world where, the numbers matter, the facts matter, and it has to kind of make a difference too. So we're trying to entertain all these different
Yeah,
balls in the air at
both the
once.
worlds, really.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, I do have a couple of questions actually. So, that was a lot in that video, but I did notice a couple of things, and I wondered, number one, have you guys been on the Dragon's Den yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yep.
We've had a soft introduction to one of the directors, and we were a little hesitant to because the contracts get very sticky, and all of a sudden it's a different level.
Yeah.
But we definitely entertain the idea. We want to keep it somewhere near the Hail Mary side of things. So if it doesn't work as far as like natural
Yeah,
networking, all the proper channels, but yeah, that's something that we won't hesitate to
No.
when we feel the time is right, if we know when.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. I thought, oh, I wonder if they've been on the Dragon's Den or if you were entertaining the idea. But yeah,
For sure.
wonderful. And then
Yeah.
I think a question that I think is on a lot of people's minds that I have to ask, is there a cost to this, and what would it be to the family members or the acute care teams that use this?
Right. There
Yeah.
is a cost, of course, for us. We had to eventually, float the boat and come down with like a way of making sense to data storage costs, anticipating the different sort of loads we'd be carrying, and because we don't want to advertise on the technology. And so again, that is a lack of resources that we're possibly
Mhm.
because we want to make it as simple and as private as possible. So without that, disclaimer out of the way, we've come down to a number that will cover our bases and allow us to still experiment with a little bit of growth. That comes down to $1 a day, which our developers are kind of like, you guys are a little crazy. You have to,
We're
you
not
should
charging
probably be
enough. Yeah.
charging a little more. And we're like, let's just make sure it gets out there. So we've tried to put it into a very competitive spot where, at a very brief glance, in very general terms, it's about 40 to $50,000 a year for someone to be in residence, receiving programs, food, care, all that sort of stuff. So at $1 a day, just under, we come in at $360 a year. So it's like a 0.6 or 0.7% of the overall cost. And what we're trying to entertain different facilities with is just to add us as a optional perk. Families that are interested in having their loved ones surrounded by that sort of person-centric care can either opt for it or opt against it. And at $1 a day, it's going to cost less than, a coffee a day or what have you. And so it just feels gross talking about money.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're so not money driven that when it does come to this conversation, we're like,
Yeah.
oh, yes, it
It's
costs
not
money,
meant to
gross.
be.
But
Yeah.
at the
Ah,
same time, we have to try to make this work as a business. Sometimes people are asking whether we're a nonprofit, and sometimes when we say no, we're not, but we're trying to make it as a small business, we kind of get this impression where they're like, oh, I get it, yeah, they're in for the money or what have you, and it's like, yeah, if we were in for the money, we would have to start profiting at about $500,000. So we've really invested our own money into this, and it was amazing to get some grant help that kept the wind in the
Yeah.
sails. But yeah, it's not cheap. We've learned the
No.
hard way that running technology is an effort, and it's a long-term commitment too. There's always changes and things to do. So, anyways, that was a super long,
Yeah.
complicated
I love
answer.
it. I love
But
it.
but in layman's terms, it's $1 a day, and when we came up with that, it was right in the window where it should be, and it's just easy to understand, and for people to, $30 a month or what have you, to kind of factor into whether they think it's a value that they're willing to pay for or not.
Absolutely. And I do, my mom has passed away. She passed away in 2009. And I remember after she passed, calling her phone to listen to her voicemail multiple times. But there's nothing like this out there. So, when the phone got cut off, I stopped. And now it's 2026 and I struggle to remember what her voice sounded like, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And thanks, Sarah, for sharing that. Yeah, it's just these little things, right? They're just so fleeting. They're around us all the time. Our phones are always in our pocket. We could be doing this all the time. It's just, it's when it's too late, it's too late. And you're right. It doesn't seem, people say to us all the time, I could do this with my phone. I could do this on Facebook. And it's like, have people that try to do anything on a Facebook account or what have you, it just becomes an untidy mess
Hmm.
that gets people's emotions all worked up in the wrong
Yeah.
way. And if we honestly saw, like, boy, if there was somebody could contrast all of those evils and just do their best to supply a private little room for people to treat as they will, then hey, that's kind of like the hill that we're willing to die on, because we got to look our kids in the eye and be like, there is a cabin out there in the mountains that we decided that we're going to take this on instead. So yeah, no, we're in it for the long haul, and we feel like we just have to make sure that our message gets out there. And thanks again to you for letting us have these little moments of exposure. It just
Yeah.
means the world to us.
Of course, of course. Well, it's well deserved. So I don't think you guys give yourself enough credit. But yeah, I think that it's a wonderful opportunity, and I think that it is going onward and upward. I just think it just good things take time, right?
Yeah.
They do,
They
and
do.
bit
And
bit by bit.
that's
Yeah.
what we've learned on our journey. It takes a lot longer than we think, and we've almost gotten used to that. Hey.
Yeah,
Well, we keep thinking we're getting used to it, but yeah,
Yeah.
we try to trim the highs and trim the lows and kind of keep our eyes on the prize. And
good.
yeah, every day there's reason to celebrate, so we just have to kind of keep the right attitude and keep shaking hands and talking to people. And hopefully we can make this land on its feet out there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love what you guys did with the revamping of it, right? Because you initially developed it to be tailored to one way for family members, and then noticed that it was organizations and professionals reaching out saying, "Ooh, this might be, good." So then you sort of like went back to the drawing board and redeveloped it a little bit, so it's now it targets both.
Yeah, yeah, and
Right.
that's what we found. It was more to do, I think, with privacy and accessibility to the accounts that had us actually revamping everything and just taking in
Mm,
all of the information from the caregivers and what topics are important for people to be talking about.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was important for us to take what was like an onslaught of information and guidance and encouragement, and instead of trying to make it more complicated, to make it simplified so that it
Yeah,
could accommodate all of those different fields. Because whether it's acquired brain injuries, whether it's special needs children or palliative care or like occupational therapy, recreational therapy, music therapy, activities directors, life enrichment coordinator.
yeah,
Like we just were like, are you kidding me? This is it was at first it was like almost a distraction. We thought that would be amazing if it could carry out a role in healthcare. Amazing. And then it was just like that was we were just hearing from healthcare like full bore. And so we just realized that if we wanted to take this seriously, we had to do a lot of listening. It was going to take a lot more time. We had to do a lot of learning, and it was like hard to be patient because we had just made BBC. Everyone was trying to get a hold of us, and so we had to kind of dock our anticipation, if that makes any sense, and
Yeah.
kind of make sure that we had the nuts and bolts in place.
I love that. And I think it shows too that, anybody can do anything. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what your education is. If you're passionate about something, you can make it happen. And I really love that.
Well, thank you.
thanks.
That's
And I think
Yeah,
that's what we've heard too, is people were saying that it actually sometimes it takes people that are outside of whatever system, whatever idea you've developed for is for, to actually come in with something new and exciting that was needed. Because I guess sometimes you get so stuck in your industry that you can't really quite see outside of it. So,
well,
absolutely.
and that's almost where we were coming from
mm,
because we thought we were making a family digital legacy project, and
true.
then it just got pulled out from aside from us. And so, yeah, it was probably the healthiest thing for us to do was just try to kind of take our hands off the wheel a little bit. We even called it Irby the Love Bug for
Yeah.
a while because it was just like it seemed like it was in control, and we were just kind of meeting people that were interested in it. So, yeah, again, we're just, we're doing our best to forward this, and luckily we've had the benefit of so much help from so many amazing
Mhm.
people that have been willing to chip in and offer us some guidance. So that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Oh,
Did we show those slides?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
We have some slides. Some of them are a little more, business orientated. Some of them are just to clarify some understanding.
well, I
Um,
think I think too that Tim, like I know you keep saying like we're not business people, we're all about the passion and the heart, and that's the part we care about. But it is important to showcase that business aspect and show the business side of things so people know that this is something, that you guys are dedicating your lives to, and it's important on so many different levels, right?
right. Yeah. Well, thank you. We're slowly trying to get better at that.
You're doing
Um,
great.
oh, well, thank you very much.
I'm going to try to make this big really quickly because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and I never understand why.
The difference. Yeah. It
It
seems
should
like
go to view. If you
That's
go to
right.
view, yeah,
Yeah.
and then yeah.
See, it stopped pausing it, so I just have to stop and redo that then. I don't know why when I make it larger, it doesn't like it. So,
Ah, it's okay. Technology is supposed to be is something to make our lives easier, and sometimes it makes it a bit more difficult.
Yeah, and this is where we get to showcase how we're not joking. We're not tech savvy geniuses that are trying to make a quick buck. We got dragged into this.
I like that. There's such an
We make a
honesty
big
about you
step.
two, which is
Awesome.
hard to find.
Uh, well, thank you very much. It's been again, it's much due to the encouragement that we've received that kind of keeps the wind in the sails and the fire in the tank. So thank you. Okay, so yeah, the video like a lot was coming at you there.
yes.
You might try to be trying to picture how does it all work. It's kind of got three different levels. The person that likes the idea of Echobox, whether that's a family member or somebody, an executive director of a senior community, whatever that might be, they would be the administrator who signs up the account and kind of takes a liking to us. Once they've got their account set up, they simply invite the caregivers on their team if it is a caregiving team, or those could be family members if they like. And then the storytellers, who are the people that are having their stories captured. So in a very simple account, one person could be the administrator, their own caregiver, and their own storyteller just to tell their own story.
Yeah.
Or right on the other side of things, the administrator could be, the CEO or an executive director. The caregivers are the teams that are either in-house or the at-home service company. And then the storytellers, of course, are the seniors and the residents that are having their memories captured. Um, and then a story itself, of course, the idea is to have several numerous stories in all sorts of different categories. But piece by piece, they all get put into place. And each story, whether that's entered by a music therapist or a loved one or whoever it might be that's interested in this person's sort of centric care, each story can have a title, can have 1,000 words of text. It can have links so that you can put several, recipes or several songs on YouTube or links to information that's just, on point for that subject. There can be 3 photos, a little video recording, and an audio recording. And so, no matter what it might be, even if it's down to this little mug that I might have picked up on a travel of mine sometime in Europe, I could take a picture of it. I could record myself having a sip. I could do a little research about the potter that created it. And that's just, I mean, that's just a cup. But if we're talking about recipes or workplace accomplishments or favorite songs or favorite movies,
We've got about 17 different topics. So,
that's right. And the idea is for all of them to kind of eventually make their way in there and to represent your loved one, whether they're living with you or whether yourself or whether they're right across the country. If Echobox is representing them, you know that even if they're in a state of decline, then the things that they love about life can still surround them and they can still be enriched on a day-to-day basis about that sort of thing. And so yeah, the idea is to have several stories. And um, again, so Echobox just seems to find multi-level win-win-win situations. It has a heart of gold, and Tannis and I honestly feel like it's just we're trying to steward it to where it wants to go as best as it can. The benefits that can be received are super multi-level. I mean, for families, it's the reassurance that their loved one is seen, supported, has access to life comforts and favorite things, regardless of whether it's a good day or a bad day. No one really wants to be told that it's shower time or told to finish their, all that sort of stuff. We never knew any of this, but the right conversation, the right topic can really just benefit not only the senior, but the caregiver, the entire situation. And the families that are hoping for that sort of reality can be comforted by that.
yeah, we heard one of the examples that we heard as far as using the music category was there was a gentleman and they had a really hard time getting him to bed all the time. He absolutely refused. And then one day they were watching TV and the old TV show MASH came on. And as soon as he heard that theme song, he said, "Oh, MASH, time to go to bed."
Yeah.
So popped up and went and got ready. And so, of course, the care team is just furiously writing notes and trying to remember all of it. So that's kind of the benefit that Echobox can give is for moments like that, tougher times like shower and change times, to have knowledge of somebody and their self-identity, to have all you have to do is put on this song and that'll help them transition into whatever activity you're trying to accomplish.
And we realize that we're kind of generalizing and making it sound very simple. Oh, just play a song or what have you.
Yeah.
But what we're slowly realizing is that all of the effort and all of the value that we saw in capturing memories in a very general sense can really aid in several different points in the most sort of wholesome way of interactions and quality of life and that sort of thing. And so yeah, moving, sorry, excellent
Yeah.
example. And moving into like the residents and seniors, of course, I'm thinking about my parents. I'm thinking about Tannis and I when we're a little older, and of course, I would love for my team to know what I love about life, surround me with things and conversations, and the hockey team that I love, and that sort of thing. And so, if, of course, on a resident basis, we're hoping to have that sort of effect for the caregivers. Guidelines, regardless of whether you have that key member of that team that either finds work somewhere else or quits the team. Of course, that has a huge impact on the community. They lose someone that's a familiar face, but also for the communication amongst the caregivers themselves and how to deliver that top-notch quick care. They lose a lot of insight there too. So for communities just at that sort of higher level, I guess a lot of people are saying, Echobox can have a big, large influence on that culture of change. We can help shine a light on, individuals and how we should kind of celebrate those that are in our community a little bit more on a person-centric basis.
It's just a photo.
Yeah,
That's sort of the same thing.
yeah. So
Looks
again,
like-
so yeah, Sarah, you brought up the cost and the of course that's oh no, that's what I was going to talk about. Um, so we are, obviously $1 a day per person. It just kind of makes me kind of shrink just to say numbers like that. But the more people we talk to, they're just saying like, wow, that's you're basically trying to compare with pencils and paper and tissues and things like that. You're really not coming in at a very high price. And what we're trying to do, again, I know I'm kind of repeating myself here, is just whether it's a family that wants to create an account for the benefit of their loved one, or a service or facility or community that wants to adopt Echobox, even just to check it out. These things can be worked out. We're doing free trials right now. We're also offering discounts for those who want to flex the technology, because right now we're at a pretty vulnerable spot. We need to make friends. We need to get the word out. But again, what we try to do is we always put ourselves in a first case scenario where if it was me and my mom or my dad or my wife, these are the price points that I certainly wouldn't hesitate at, to make sure that my loved ones were surrounded by the things that they love about life, and their care team knew about that sort of thing on a first term basis.
Yeah, markets and fields, we kind of covered that. It can actually, I mean, it's a universal product in the sense that it's not just for individuals, families, senior living communities. It's open for everybody. So
That's right. We've heard from so many different groups. It's just been amazing. It's hard to know that we're putting our right foot forward. We know that it is within the scope of quality of life. It's just that serves such a huge purpose for so many. I mean, senior living, that's one area that we are definitely hoping that we can make a great positive impact in. But again, in palliative care, companion care, music therapy, rec therapy, occupational therapy, and we do want to keep all the doors open and all the conversations open for special needs children, acquired brain injuries, speech therapy, grief therapy, hospice care. It does seem like whatever we're trying to unearth here has an appeal to several different people in several different fields. So bear with us. Our delivery is a little
rusty.
well, rusty, and it's convoluted because it's just been very distracting as we've kind of moved forward. But again, we just benefit from all of the advice and insight that whoever we run into happens to. What did we say at one point? We just said we've stopped throwing spaghetti at the wall, and we're throwing Italian markets at the wall now, just to see who might have what to say and what introductions might come of it. And so yeah, we're just hoping to keep the ball rolling. And speaking of which, this is kind of on point for anybody that's kind of just interested in what we're planning for the next year. The next 3 to 5 months, we want to be shaking more hands and opening up more free trials with communities and facilities and families and therapists that are just interested in the idea. And in 5 to 7 months, we want to turn that feedback into a little bit more of a shape. We're going to conclude the trials, go over the feedback, continue some outreach, but really turn towards marketing. And because it's one thing we haven't actually done yet, we wanted to make sure that all of our kind of ducks are in a row and that we've got everything just so without waiting too long, because you can do that too. And so sometime in July, August, September, we're hoping that we actually start marketing, and that people start hearing about us instead of in meetings like this, possibly on the radio or on TV or what have you. And so that's what our initial timeline is.
This is
We've kind of looked at that one,
well, we've
think a
seen
little
one
bit.
example, but yeah, I think we can also do a demo from your phone too,
Sure.
right?
Sure. These are
So
just
good.
more more
Mhm.
screenshots of what people have kind of captured. Dorothy, obviously, the garden was a big source of comfort for her. And now, of course, there's a limited amount of time she has to spend in any gardens, but her care team dove in and researched some of the wildflowers that grew naturally where she grew up. Um, Anna always loved cooking. She grew up by her mother's side in Norway. So her care team actually researched some Norwegian specialties that she remembered. Just so, during an activity day, they were all able to share some holiday cookies, some Norwegian holiday cookies that are called Poor Man cookies. Adorable name. And then, yeah, on the right-hand side, we tried to capture just what a music therapist might come in handy. Everyone's trying to do the best they can. But quite often, it's just a reality where they have a certain amount of time to show up, a certain amount of songs that they can probably play for a general sort of appeal before they head off. And what we're trying to do is shine a light on people's individual favorite songs and that sort of things, flavors. And so, to a music therapist, Ernie, this little story from Ernie here might offer a couple of uh, really strong suggestions for that one-on-one connection and what really might bring people into those activities and out of their rooms and to see a little bit more about life and to share what they love, that sort of thing.
Just got we've been fortunate enough to get some really great partnerships with our national rec therapy associations. So we're partners with the Canadian Therapeutic Recreation Association, the one here in our province of the Alberta Therapeutic Recreation Association,
That's right.
and the New Zealand Diversional and
Recreational Therapy Society.
Society.
Yep,
Yes. Okay.
it's a long
Nailed
name.
it.
And we're starting to do webinars as well for groups in Australia and in BC. And people keep we got an email this morning from a gentleman in Hodgwick Village in Netherlands who wants to meet up and talk about. So things are happening. We're excited, but we're just trying to concentrate at the same
Yeah,
time.
that's right. Yeah, and we've met up with Teepa Snow, and then on the other side there, you can see our list of topics that we have.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Sorry,
so
bear with me. I'm going to read them out because I
have you?
do have an interest in hearing if there is a topic that somebody wants to enter in the chat or just wants to, pipe up about. It would be amazing to get a little bit more feedback because we're always evolving and we always want to learn
Mhm.
more about what is of interest to people. So right now, in a very general sense, it just so happened to round off at 17, but the categories that we capture stories in right now are the senses, childhood, music and song, movies and TV, food and drink, fun and games, fish and games, fun and games, work, travels, people, animals, the outdoors, vehicles, fashion, art and books, sports, garden, and hopes and dreams. And so, with the senses and hopes and dreams, they're kind of open to interpretation. Whether someone wants to talk about whether like deep spiritual meanings to them or, just whatever it might be, we just kind of try to keep a couple of categories open for whatever kind of might fill the gap there. But we know that there are so many interests and so many things that individuals are busy out there enjoying. And so if there is anything that it feels like we didn't mention there, then it
Mhm.
would be gold to us. It would mean the world to hear some feedback on what's important to you.
I don't know if you said this or if this is in one of those like underheadings, but I was like likes and dislikes. You know what I mean? Like there are some things I just don't like, and I would love for people to be able to know that about me.
You know
Just
what?
like
And
in a
that
general term.
that
Yeah.
is hugely important. It was sort of like it was a decision of ours to try to stay away from the negativity
Hmm.
just because I think there's one that does have, I think animals. It's like animals I don't like. I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
why. But yeah, no, you're right. And you know what? Those are just as important as far as if we're really trying to address the daily ins and outs of what matters to people, then it's not just what's awesome and glowy and sparkly and what appeals to us. Obviously, it's also going to be what we want to avoid and the things that make us uncomfortable. So that is an absolutely key piece of advice right there. And these sorts of things go right into our notebook and into these considerations when
Yeah.
we have to change, our messaging or the actual develop another piece to it or whatever it might be. It it means the world. So thank you very much for that advice.
Absolutely. And I mean, it comes from me because 15 years ago, I was a healthcare aide in a long-term care facility, and I was there for about a year and a half before I bridged to therapeutic recreation. But I remember in the mornings because, there's healthcare aides that have, maybe 18 people. They have to get up and get ready. You start shift at 9 or at 7. You have to have them by the breakfast area by 9. So you really only have maybe 4 or 5 minutes per person to get them up and get them out of bed. And that's where I think the dislikes might come in, where I remember getting punched because I didn't do something the way that this client liked it to be done, right? The way that it was like a soaker sheet was being moved or something, and it was very, very disturbing to her, and her reaction was to just punch me in the face, which
Exactly.
I mean, and I totally understand it. I was like, oh, like what did I do? But that's why I think like, ooh, likes and dislikes are important because I don't like, my soaker sheet to be moved really fast like that because it jolts me. It needs to be done slower and a better movement. I don't know, things like that.
Absolutely.
My two
And
cents.
it just instantly kind of reminds me, yeah, and a lot of the pain points that we're getting better at saying Echobox can address.
Yeah.
One of them is, calls to loved ones saying, your mother or father is just having a little bit of they're kind of like in a bad mood tonight, and we're just hoping for like a little bit of advice or maybe something that might distract them. And if the loved one is saying, this is like the third call this week I've got about this exact same thing. And so what we're slowly realizing is that if Echobox can kind of grease these gears and supply these sort of passive accesses to emotional intelligence,
Mm,
what we're being told is that this communication can, because the caregiver is doing everything they possibly can, up and including calling a relative to say, what can I do? The relative, they're kind of doing everything they can, but they're at wit's end because they've said to three different caregivers of the same information in one week. And the room in the middle is Echo Box. We really do feel like it just needs to find, we need to kind of put it out there and take a couple on the chin, but like it'll it's gonna figure out a way to branch one way, to branch another way, and to benefit both sides.
Yeah.
We really do feel on a daily basis as Tannison, it's just our responsibility to try to get it there. The pressure is real because like we can't do this forever, but like that's the power that we think that this can have. Again, at a glance, it might seem like this just lovey-dovey thing that's kind of out there. Anyways, you can capture things on your own if you want to, but when it counts in a very critical day-to-day situation, there's a vacancy there, and we're just trying to occupy that and learn from experience. So that's where.
absolutely. I think it's such a strong resource for caregivers to have. So I think that it's very well needed. And that's why I contacted you guys. I wanted to interview them, you guys. It's everybody watching. I called them. They didn't call me.
Well,
But
and we thank you so much for it. So much of our day is outreach. And sometimes we get quick, sometimes we get a couple of weeks where we don't hear back from anybody, and we have to kind of keep our eyes on the prize. And so when we do hear from people like yourself, it's so encouraging. And it reminds us too that despite interest that we do receive from the BBC or from Australia or whatever, what we need to do right now is hit it at a grassroots level. We need to put our faces in places. We need to offer free trials, discounts, make some relationships happen. Just make friends. That's the only way this is going to move forward. Getting caught up in all of the glitz and glamour of what could be, I think, is going to kind of bite us in the butt. So
Mhm.
so yeah, we just the the honor is all ours, and thank you very
Yes.
much. Yeah, for sure.
oh, thank you guys. And then, so do you guys have a slide with your contact information? So because this is live right now, but it's also being recorded. We're going to post it to our Unison YouTube page to help grow its reach. If you guys have contact information that you want to put up on the screen so that people, if there's any organizations or professionals watching this recorded, they can take a screenshot or and have your information. I think that's really important.
Oh, that's perfect. I think if
Okay.
we go just to the end of that video that
We
we
do that now.
yeah, because it has the QR code and everything on it.
Yeah.
So,
Bear with us as we look around. We can still talk
oh, okay. I
because
thought wasn't it part of our
we're not,
slideshow?
okay, I see. Yeah.
That's okay.
It
This
was,
is how we
okay.
know that you guys are real humans, and
Right?
not, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so
Oh, okay, awesome.
if
Thank
I
you.
get
I
it
would have
out of
never
the,
done
yeah, no,
that.
get it out of the way. I just have to get it'll just take a second of the unpause to actually share it. So just give me one
So
sec.
you guys mentioned right now that this is free to professionals and to family members. So how long is that free
Well,
trial?
we do have to massage those trials like on a personal basis. There's no way to kind of get that just going online or what have you. So we're just basically trying to spread the word, have people go to our website if they like what we're all about. They can contact us and say, you know what, I'm interested in a 90-day trial. That's what we're kind of roughly putting it at about 3 months. We're super flexible. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's situation is different. We're happy to talk to individual therapists, you know, people that are running services that are at-home services or people that are in charge of different programs at communities, whoever it might be. Please just reach out. We'd be thrilled to make Echobox fit the best way it would for your situation. 3 months for free, no ifs, ands, or buts. And at the end of that, if you see value in the service, we'll continue that relationship, probably offer an ongoing, as a thank you, and offer going an ongoing discount, just because that's where we're at right now. We want to make it big and we want to get out there, but it's going to take a lot of massaging and a lot of relationship building to get there. And so, if you like the idea of what we're up to, then please reach out. Feedback at echobox.ca. You can also reach us at info@echobox.ca. Again, our website is just echobox.ca itself. We have a YouTube channel with some
Yeah.
videos to check out. We're on Instagram and Facebook, not all the
LinkedIn
time. LinkedIn.
and LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yeah, we're probably mostly on LinkedIn and Instagram.
That's how I found you guys, LinkedIn.
Okay,
Okay.
right on.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you for finding us.
oh yes, I'm so glad. It's all pleasure's all mine. I know you keep saying you're so grateful, but I'm so grateful. I love that we get to learn more about this. I do have one more question that is, I know you guys are not like you're very passionate. You don't like to touch on cost and the negative ends of things. And I'm so sorry. I seem to be going there. I
Oh,
don't know
we
why,
need
but
to. It's
I'm
perfect.
troubleshooting, right?
Perfect.
I
Yeah.
just wondered so say you try the 3 month trial and either the caregiver or the person, it's just not working out somehow. Then what about all that information that they put in there? Where does that go? Do they get to take it with them? Is there some way, or do they just lose that all?
Our next piece that we want to develop is a one-time downloadable file so that
Ah,
anybody with a loved one that's like overseas or across the country can have that information that's with them, or that is captured. That's a step away. But right now it's actually being, because we saw that coming, we're actually capturing everything in cold storage for long-term retrieval. In the event that somebody is simply not interested in carrying on, and if they want to have that information, unfortunately, right now they would probably have to download that like
yeah.
individually, however they want to make
Yeah.
sure that that's
Capture
captured.
screenshots or
We wouldn't just like delete it and ghost them or whatever.
Hmm.
But until we have that next piece in place, it's probably going to be, make sure you capture this in your own sort of technology before you shut that account down.
Yeah.
Or like we can also, if someone's not interested and they're sensitive about what they did capture, we can delete that and assure them that it's gone from cold storage and everything. So
yeah.
we are just here to play nice. We're trying we have,
Yes.
so yeah, however it works best for everybody. It's our job to contrast the evils that are out there, and we will do everything we can to do so. So
I
yeah,
love that because yeah, that was one of my thoughts. Like you're paying for it's an app, I assume, right? So you're
that's right.
paying for this app and this service, and then once you're done paying for the app, so let's say, my mom, she dies, right? And then all of that, what I have, how do I download that from the app that I no longer need in the future, but I still have what I've already previously captured?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because at its heart and soul, Echobox is really wanting to just celebrate people better. And so, however, we don't trap information from the loved ones, all that sort of thing, it would be working a 180 as to why we even started up. So, So yeah, currently there's a way around it, and our number one goal the
To
next time
get
we develop anything is to develop that one-time download. So regardless if it's a family that has created an Echo Box about a loved one and doesn't want to pay $1 a day for all of the tools that come with it, just wants to use it as a legacy piece, they can
Yeah.
just download it and then that's it. And the same thing on a B2B business sort of an account. If my mom or dad was in a place in Toronto that was using Echobox and the day came where they passed away, we want to make it possible so that I would be able to just reach out, ask for that information, get a one-time download, and have it for my own use. So we're getting there. We're
yeah,
getting there for sure. It's the next thing
that
on
is the
our
next step.
list.
I love that. I love it. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to ask, but I love those answers. And I think that, yeah, I think you guys are doing a great job with this. And, keep going. Sometimes I can imagine that it just feels like you've hit a wall, right? But you guys are doing amazing things out there. So, and I love that you're not, big business, gurus, and like you're real people with real emotions, real feelings, real compassion, real empathy, and I just love that. So I think that that's so important, you guys.
Well, thank you. That's very kind.
Yeah,
Yes, of
that's
course.
so thank you so much, Sarah. That means a lot.
Thank you guys. Now, if there's no questions out there, if you guys don't have anything else to add, then I think that we will wrap this up pretty quick. We've had the Echobox Memory Vault picture on the screen, so hopefully whoever's out there or anybody in a recording land has been able to kind of take a picture of that so that you can reach out to Tim and Tannis at your convenience. We loved having you guys today. I thought this was really wonderful. I learned so much about this, and I'm definitely going to keep talking about it and spreading that word. I think that's important. So thank you, Tim and Tannis, so much. Thank you, everybody who's here today, everybody watching the recorded version. Come on back next week. We're going to talk with Community Connect YYC and talk about how we can simplify access to mental health and social services. So come on back and thank you guys again so much. Everybody take care. I like to do this at the end of my recordings now. I give hearts to people because there's only love in Unison for generations 50 plus.
Oh, thank you
Thank
so
Thanks
you
so
much.
much.
guys so much.
Keep
Have a
up the
great week,
great work.
everybody.
You
See you guys.
guys too. Yes, everybody have a great afternoon. Bye, Tim and Tannis. Thank you guys.
Bye.